The Alfresco REST API lets you manage Alfresco-specific features of content in an on-premise Alfresco repository and in the Alfresco cloud from your own applications. Response and request bodies are all specified with simple JSON. The API gives your application access to Alfresco networks, sites, containers, comments, ratings, tags, and workflow objects. Entities are any object in the Alfresco repository. Entities have specific entity types, and each one has a unique ID. Alfresco has the following entities. Sites. An Alfresco site is a project area where you can share content and collaborate with other site members. Containers. A container is a folder or space in a site. Members. Members are the people who will collaborate on a site. People. People are the users of Alfresco. A person entity describes the user as they are known to Alfresco. Favorite sites. The sites that a person has marked as favorite in Alfresco. Preferences. A person's preferences in Alfresco. Networks. A network is the group of users and sites that belong to an organization. You can find out specific network information or how it relates to a person. Activities. Activities describe any past activity in a site, for example, creating an item of content, commenting on a node, liking an item of content. Nodes. A node is an overall term for an item of content or a folder. Comments. A person can comment on folders and individual items to give other users information or notes specific to that content. Tags. Any item of Alfresco content can be tagged. Ratings. A person can rate an item of content by liking it. They can also remove their like of an item of content. Favorites. A favorite describes an Alfresco entity that a person has marked as a favorite. Site membership requests. A site membership request describes a request for a person to join a site in Alfresco. Deployments. A deployment resource represents one file inside a deployment. Process definitions. A process definition is a description of an execution flow in terms of activities. New processes are created and started for a process definition. Processes. A process describes a running instance of a process definition. Tasks. A task describes one task for a human user. Entities can be grouped together. This is called a collection. The request format will look similar to what we have seen in CMIS. However, instead of using the CMIS API, we specify public/Alfresco. This designates the use of the REST API. The standard HTTP methods are available, including POST, GET, PUT, and DELETE. In the example here, we are calling the REST API using the entity of sites. The on-premise requests have the same capabilities as the cloud-based requests. All of the standard HTTP methods are available. The example shown here shows how to call the entity of sites from an on-premise Alfresco installation. The REST API must contain at least one entity. This could consist of a single entity, or an entity type and ID, or any combination of these parameters. In the first example here, we are specifying a site entity and declaring the site ID to be a pod-site. In the second example, we have concatenated the site ID with a specific site member, in this case, Rick Springfield. When making REST calls, the application will often need to specify a user in order to authenticate against the system. This can be done in two ways. Either by specifying a named user, such as shown in the first example, or by specifying the currently logged in user using the -me-tag as shown in the second example. The API provides several HTTP parameters that you can append to any API method URL to filter the returned results. The parameters are optional and can be used in combination with each other. There are also parameters that are used in specific API methods. Pagination allows you to limit the amount of items to be returned. Sorting allows control over the order of the entities that are returned. Select restricts the results returned or allows you to set a partial update of an object. Where allows you to restrict the objects returned using a predicate, similar to a SQL statement. Filtering allows you to restrict the properties returned by including only a subset of properties. And relations allow you to include related items in the results returned.